My dear friends, after more than 30 years working with seniors, people over 60, I've noticed a very familiar fear: the belief that eating eggs could cause a heart attack or stroke. Many of my patients have told me, "Doctor, I haven't touched an egg yolk in years because I'm afraid of cholesterol." But modern science tells us something very different. When eaten the right way, eggs are not only safe, they can actually act like a natural medicine, protecting both your heart and your brain. Welcome to Strong Health Way. My name is Dr. David Mitchell. I'm 60 years old and I've spent decades walking alongside thousands of seniors here in the United States. Today we're going to talk about how to eat eggs wisely to prevent heart attack and stroke. Now I want you to imagine this: a simple breakfast with two boiled eggs, a slice of whole grain bread, and some fresh greens. That little meal gives you steady energy, keeps your blood sugar balanced, and most importantly, it supports a healthy heart. On the other hand, one of my patients, George, age 67, used to start every day with fried eggs swimming in oil and bacon on the side. The result? His cholesterol went through the roof and his stroke risk climbed higher and higher. But once he switched to boiled eggs paired with vegetables and salmon, just a few months later, his blood markers improved dramatically. Here's the key message: eggs themselves are not the problem. It's the way we cook them that makes the difference. Deep fried eggs can turn into a cholesterol bomb, but boiled or steamed eggs, those are an incredible source of protein rich in choline and omega-3s nutrients that strengthen your brain and protect your heart. Another point to remember: not all eggs are created equal. Free-range eggs, rich in omega-3 and vitamin D, actually help reduce inflammation in the blood vessels, giving seniors even stronger protection against heart attack and stroke. And timing matters too. Morning is the best time to eat your eggs. If you load up on eggs late at night, your liver and heart have to work harder. Fat builds up in the blood, and your stroke risk while you sleep quietly increases. My friends, prevention doesn't always start in a pharmacy, it often starts in your kitchen. A single egg eaten the right way can become a trusted friend of your heart and your brain. If you found this video helpful, please share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Strong Health Way. Every week, I'll bring you more simple, science-based tips to help seniors stay strong and live free from heart attack and stroke. And now you might be wondering, why are so many seniors still afraid of eggs? Well, it all began with one big misunderstanding about cholesterol and its link to heart attacks and strokes. Let me take a moment to explain that more clearly. 1. The cholesterol myth and the fear of heart attack and stroke. My friend, let me take you back in time for a moment, back to the 1960s. Back then, newspapers, medical journals, and even our family doctors were all saying the same thing: don't eat egg yolks. They're full of cholesterol, and cholesterol will kill you with a heart attack or a stroke. Do you remember how many times you heard that advice? Many of my patients told me they avoided eggs for decades, and every time they saw a breakfast plate with a sunny side-up egg, they couldn't help but feel guilty. But science, if we give it time, always moves forward. And what we've learned over the past few decades is eye-opening: the cholesterol in food is not the main villain clogging up our arteries. In fact, about 90% of heart attacks and strokes don't come from the egg you had for breakfast. They come from something else: refined starches, the sugar in pastries and sodas, and the foods that push our bodies into chronic inflammation and insulin resistance. And who suffers most from this? Seniors, those of us over 60. Let me give you an image. Think of your blood vessels as a river. If the river is clear and flowing smoothly, you can set a small boat in the water and it will drift peacefully. But if the river is filled with trash mud and broken branches, then just one heavy rainfall can cause a serious blockage. The cholesterol in eggs is like a few autumn leaves floating downstream. It doesn't clog the river. The real troublemakers are the washer and refined starches that pile up like toxic waste, triggering inflammation, plaque buildup, and eventually a heart attack or a stroke. One of my patients, a 68-year-old man, once told me, "Doctor, I gave up eggs for 20 years, and I still had a mild stroke." When I looked closely at his diet, what I found wasn't eggs, it was white bread, soda, and too many deep-fried foods. That was the real enemy. So if you're a senior and you're still worried that your morning egg might stop your heart, please let that fear go. Modern science has cleared eggs of that old accusation. The real focus shouldn't be avoiding the yolk, but removing the foods that truly drive inflammation and insulin resistance. Those are the hidden culprits behind most of the heart attacks and strokes I've witnessed over the past 30 years. 2. Egg yolks, a nutrient powerhouse. protecting the hearts and brains of seniors. You see, for years we've worried too much about the cholesterol in eggs, while the real culprits were sugar and refined carbs. So what happens if we take a fairer look at eggs? This is where I want to talk about one part of the egg. Many people still fear the yolk, and you might be surprised to learn this: the yolk isn't the enemy. It's actually a treasure chest of nutrients that can help seniors like us protect both the heart and the brain from heart attack and stroke. Picture this: inside that small egg yolk lies choline, a nutrient that lowers homocysteine levels in your blood. Think of homocysteine as tiny scratches inside your blood vessels, the very spots where plaque starts building up, eventually leading to a heart attack. Choline works like a protective coating, keeping your arteries smooth and flexible. I've had patients who simply added a few eggs each week, and their heart markers improved significantly. But it doesn't stop there. Egg yolks are rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, antioxidants most people only know for eye health. What they don't realize is these nutrients also shield the heart. Imagine LDL cholesterol, often called bad cholesterol, as a nail made of iron. When it oxidizes, it rusts, and that rust sticks to your artery walls, forming dangerous plaques. These plaques are one of the biggest triggers for stroke. Lutein and zeaxanthin act like a rust-proof coating, keeping LDL from turning toxic and helping your vessels stay clean and resilient. Here's another gem: egg yolks provide vitamin D and omega-3s, two of the heart's best friends. They reduce inflammation, stabilize existing plaques, and most importantly, lower the risk of those plaques suddenly rupturing, which is one of the main causes of heart attack and stroke in seniors. I had a patient with chronic inflammation who simply added eggs to his diet, and over time his inflammation dropped and his heart health noticeably improved. And of course, yolks also bring you protein and healthy fats, the foundation for stable blood sugar and protection against insulin resistance, which drives so many heart problems. I often tell my patients, start your morning with eggs and you'll have steady energy, no mid-morning sugar crashes, and a stronger heart over time. So you see, the egg yolk isn't something to fear. In fact, it's a key ally in helping seniors prevent heart attack and stroke while also nourishing the brain and body. And you know what? Eating eggs the right way is only half the story. Just as important is when you eat them. Timing matters if you want seniors' bodies to absorb the most and keep the heart protected for the long run. Let's move on to that next part. 3. Eating at the right time to protect your heart. You know, there's one little thing that can make a huge difference for the health of your heart and brain: the timing of when you eat eggs. I often remind my patients it's not only what you eat that matters, but also when you eat it. And for seniors who face a higher risk of heart attack and stroke, this becomes even more critical. Picture this: your morning starts with a simple breakfast that includes an egg. Just one egg paired with some vegetables can keep your blood sugar steady for hours. When blood sugar doesn't swing up and down, insulin doesn't have to work overtime. And this is the key to preventing insulin resistance, one of the root causes behind so many heart attacks and strokes I've seen over my 30 years in practice. I remember one of my older patients. She used to skip breakfast and eat more late at night. She often felt tired, dizzy in the mornings, and restless at night with her heart racing. After a simple adjustment, adding an egg to her breakfast, her whole day felt different. She had more energy, slept deeper, and her heartbeat became steadier. Maybe you've experienced something similar yourself without realizing the cause. On the other hand, when we eat eggs or other heavy foods, high in fat and protein, late at night, our body has to work overtime to digest when it should be resting. The liver and heart get put under unnecessary pressure. For seniors, this can quietly raise the risk of a sudden heart attack or stroke during the night. I'm sure you've heard sad stories like that happening to people around you. That's why I say eggs for breakfast are more than just a meal. They're a gift for your heart and brain. A simple morning choice, a small daily habit that can significantly cut down the risk of heart attack and stroke. Isn't it amazing that by just changing the timing of when you eat, you can start your day stronger and maybe even add years to your life? So now that we know the right time to eat eggs can protect your heart and brain, the next question is, how should we prepare them in the healthiest way possible? Let's explore that together. 4. Choosing the right eggs, a key to preventing heart attack and stroke. You know, not all eggs are created equal. One of my patients once said to me, "Doc, an egg is an egg. As long as it's cheap, that's good enough." But the truth is there's a big difference, and this small detail can actually make a huge impact on your heart and brain, especially as we get older when the risk of heart attack and stroke goes up. I want you to picture this: a hen raised in the open air, roaming freely pecking at natural grains, insects, and green grass. The egg from that hen is rich in omega-3s, vitamin D, and antioxidants nutrients that act like armor, protecting your blood vessels and calming down hidden inflammation in your body. And for seniors, that's exactly what the heart and brain need. Now compare that with industrial eggs from hens packed into tight cages fed mostly omega-6 heavy feed. Those eggs can actually fuel silent inflammation. And over time, that inflammation becomes the spark that lights the fire of a heart attack or a stroke. I've seen it happen too many times in my patients. For seniors, choosing an organic pasture-raised egg isn't just about food. It's a way of saying to yourself, I deserve protection. My heart and brain deserve care. Sometimes spending just a little more on quality food is the smartest investment you can make for your health, for your longevity, and for those peaceful moments with the people you love. So once we've chosen the right kind of eggs, the next big question is, how do we cook them in a way that truly protects the heart and brain of seniors? Let's break that down. 5. The safest ways for seniors to cook eggs. My friend, I want you to think about this. It's not just what you eat, but how you cook it that determines whether eggs become your best friend for heart protection or quietly add to the risk of heart attack and stroke. In more than 30 years of working with seniors, I've seen a simple but powerful truth. Sometimes it's the small, daily cooking habits that draw the fine line between health and disease. I remember one of my patients, a 68-year-old man, who told me, Doctor, I eat eggs every day, but my heart health still isn't improving. After digging deeper, I found out he was frying his eggs at very high heat with refined vegetable oils. That was the real problem. High heat destroys many of the egg's valuable nutrients and produces oxidized compounds that trigger inflammation. And inflammation is the silent enemy that weakens arteries and drives up the risk of stroke. On the other hand, when you boil, steam, or poach eggs gently, they retain almost all of their natural nutrition, from high-quality protein to essential vitamins and minerals. This is one of the simplest ways seniors can turn every meal into natural medicine for the heart and brain. Now, what if you really love fried eggs? I get it. The aroma and taste are hard to resist. My advice is this: cook them on medium heat and use healthier, more stable fats, like a little butter, coconut oil, or extra virgin olive oil. These oils can handle the heat better, produce fewer toxins, and still give you that delicious flavor. I want you to picture this: just by switching from a pan of sizzling oil to a pot of gently boiling water, you're sending a powerful message to your body. I'm caring for my heart. I'm protecting my brain. For seniors, real health doesn't come from dramatic changes, but from small choices repeated every day. Even the way you cook an egg, something so simple, can determine whether you enjoy another strong, healthy day or face an early risk of heart attack and stroke. And now that you know the safest ways to prepare eggs for your heart and brain, you may be wondering, what foods should I combine them with to lower stroke risk even further? Let's step into the next section and find out. 6. What to eat with eggs to lower the risk of heart attack and stroke. You see, with eggs, it's not only about how you cook them, it's also about what you eat them with. I often tell my patients, in mine, an egg can be a powerful medicine, or it can turn into a burden for your heart. It all depends on what you place next to it on your breakfast plate. Now picture a typical morning for many seniors here in the US. A hot skillet, a few greasy strips of bacon, some sausages, and a couple of fried eggs. It looks delicious, but in reality, it's more like a bomb of salt and preservatives. Bacon and sausage are loaded with nitrates, sodium, and unhealthy fats. When paired with these eggs, that meal stops being heart protective and instead quietly fuels the risk of stroke and heart attack. One of my patients once sighed and told me, Doctor, I always thought eggs with bacon were the true American breakfast. I had no idea that very habit was hurting me so much. Now let me paint a different picture for you. Imagine a boiled egg sitting next to a few slices of creamy avocado, a handful of fresh spinach, and some juicy red tomatoes. With the first bite, you're not just tasting freshness, you're giving your body a natural prescription for heart and blood vessel health. Avocado provides potassium, the mineral that helps lower blood pressure. Spinach gives you magnesium, which helps your blood vessels relax. And tomatoes, they're rich in lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that protects the heart from inflammation. For seniors, this simple combination works like a shield for your heart. No fancy recipes, no expensive ingredients, just small changes that can turn an ordinary breakfast into a little miracle of prevention against heart attack and stroke. So next time you prepare eggs, I want you to pause and ask yourself, am I nourishing my heart or am I challenging it? The answer is right there on the plate in front of you. 7. How many eggs are safe for seniors? Over the years, I've been asked the same question countless times by my older patients. Doctor, how many eggs can I eat each day without hurting my heart? It sounds simple, but behind it lies a very real fear of heart attack and stroke. And I bet you watching this right now have wondered the same thing. The first thing I want to stress is this: there isn't a single one-size-fits-all number. Our bodies are like finely tuned machines, each built a little differently. Some run smoothly for decades, while others already have a few parts that need extra care. For healthy seniors, those without heart disease or diabetes, having 1 to 3 eggs a day is usually safe and often beneficial. Eggs can help preserve muscle, provide protein, and support brain health. But I've also cared for many patients with a history of heart attack, type 2 diabetes, or inherited cholesterol problems. For them, I advise much more caution. I usually recommend no more than 3 to 4 eggs per week, along with regular checkups to monitor their heart health. Because sometimes that tasty breakfast today can translate into serious risks for the heart tomorrow. Think of it this way: eating eggs is like fueling a car that's been driving the road of life for decades. If the engine is still strong, you can fill the tank and keep cruising with confidence. But if that engine has had breakdowns before, you need to be selective, using just the right kind and amount of fuel to make sure the car keeps going without stalling on the road. So here's what I want you to remember. The number of eggs isn't just about nutrition. It's part of the bigger picture where heart health and stroke prevention must always be at the center. Eat in moderation, eat smart, and most importantly, listen to what your body is telling you. My friend, by now, I hope you see this clearly. Eggs are not the enemy. They are not the villain behind heart attacks or strokes, as so many people still believe. In fact, when eaten the right way, eggs can actually become a powerful ally for the heart and brain, especially for seniors. In my 30-plus years working with people over 50, I've witnessed how small changes can completely reshape someone's health. I remember one of my patients, a 72-year-old gentleman who was so afraid of eggs that he cut them out entirely. He told me his friends warned him that eggs would clog his arteries. But when I guided him on how to eat wisely, choosing high-quality eggs boiling instead of deep frying, eating them in the morning instead of late at night, and most importantly, keeping the quantity moderate, everything changed. Just a few months later, he returned to my office with a bright smile. His blood pressure was stable, his cholesterol had improved, and he said, "Doctor, I feel like I've gotten my 60-year-old body back." Think about it: 1 egg a day eaten the right way is like placing a single brick into the foundation of a house. Over time, those bricks build a strong wall that protects your heart, keeps your blood flowing smoothly, and lowers the risk of sudden heart attack or stroke. The beautiful part is that seniors don't need to overhaul their entire diet to get these benefits. Just small adjustments, eating at the right time, cooking in a healthy way, and listening to your body can make your heart stronger, your mind sharper, and your years longer, filled with more precious moments with your loved ones. And at this stage of life, it's not just about living longer, it's about living healthier, living with meaning, and truly enjoying every day with the people you cherish. If you found today's message helpful, please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Because a strong heart and a long, healthy life, that is the greatest gift we can give ourselves and our families.